on a bus and it said Hickam Field, so we got out there. And we get out there and the bus pulls up in front of the gates. And a guy come on, an MP come on, want to know all what we're doing and everything. And I said, well, we're just visiting. And he says, well, you can't go in there. And so the bus, he said, well, you'll have to get off the bus. So we're standing on the outside.
So was it still active base when you went there?
Yeah, it was still active. But anyhow, we were standing on the outside the gate. And this MP was right over there in the building. This little shed was right there where the MP stayed. And he come over and he said, what do you want in here for anyhow? I said, well, I was stationed here 4 years. And I said, I just wanted to show the wife what it looked like and where I was at.
We thought sure when
And
we were on the bus we could go clear.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't let me. But anyhow, he said, just a minute, I'll check with my commanding officer. So he went over and come back. He said, yeah, he says, you can come on inside now. So I came inside and the bus had already gone. It'd take probably an hour and a half for the bus to go all around back to town again. So we were there waiting for a long time. And I said, well, there's going to be a long wait sitting here. And he said, see that car over there? He says, that's my girlfriend. He says, he'll take you any place you want. So he called over and she took us down to the big barracks and all over. So the big barracks was a great big huge building. It was the head of the South Pacific Command Station. And they had a wall that's probably about 3 foot off the ground, maybe, yeah, about 3 foot. And they had a little cement ledger, probably about 8 inches wide.
It was glass windows
and
like
we
this.
saw down here in this one place here, it showed all of the original barracks and buildings that were during the war.
Did you recognize it?
Well, we were standing down there looking at it, and we couldn't see it too good because it's cut quite even. You'd have to look up in the air. And so we got up there and walked out on the wall, and then everybody come out with guns. What are you doing?
Here we were standing on this edge.
I said, where our barracks was and everything. And he said, well, wait a minute, come on inside. So he says, yeah, you can go down there and look at the pictures and stuff, and I have to be with you. So
he had
down there. He saw all the pictures and everything. And then she took us all over the whole Hickam Field and everything, showed us all the places and everything.
So you got the VIP treatment.
Yeah, we really did.
We did. We were lucky.
Because there's a lot of officers' quarters and everything else there.
So did you, I mean, recognize stuff and kind of...
Well, the barracks and everything that we stayed in, they were all torn down actually, but the permanent buildings where the officers were, they were still there, building regular houses where they lived in, you know. But it was pretty nice to be able to see all of that.
So this is the island, I mean, this is where Honolulu, the island?
Oahu,
yeah. You say my dad was there on that same island? You were?
Yeah, it was actually going to the same island.
And that's
Schofield was way up on another place.
What was the ship that
Schofield Base was where he was at.
Yeah, Schofield.
Yeah. Did you know Dad?
Well, I knew it through writing to it. Loretta and Vernetta, our letters back and forth.
But did you ever see Dad those 4 years? You never saw him on...
over there.
Over there, yeah. I don't know how many years Dad was there, but he also said he was at the Marshall Islands too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, Mickey, you're not going outside.
He was down in Guam. They sent him down to Guam.
Yeah, after the point system. Of course, at the point system, why people coming back that had 50 points, they had to replace those people down there. So then they didn't have 50 points. So that's when they sent me to Guam. But,
well, you're 4 years in Hawaii. I mean, what was that like? I mean, the weather was kind of...
It was beautiful.
Right? The weather was great.
Every single day. It rained every afternoon about 4 o'clock for a half hour.
Then it'd clear up and you wouldn't even know it rained, right?
Yeah, and that was it. Dried up.
But he had a car.
I had a car.
He worked at a cleaning place.
Well, let me tell him, honey.
Okay.
I worked in the message center, and I was training all the non-coms, the sergeants and so forth. I was a PFC. And I was training all them before they went down under on teletype and everything, communications. And so then they retained their rank again. They had to do whatever I said. And so then they get back, and they get back at me. See, after they got their rank back again, they give me a hard time. But anyhow, I went in, and the captain says, I hear you're having trouble with the non-coms again. I said, yeah, the minute I get police from there, I said, they give me all kinds of static. And I says, I quit. He says, where the hell do you think you're at? I said, well, I just told you what I said. I says, I quit. He says, you ain't quitting no place. You're going on KP the rest of your life. So I went on KP, and about that time, where everybody had to rotate for pulling KP, and then they decided that everybody would pay $1, and then they pay steady KPs. So then we got on steady KPs. I got $90 a month besides my pay. Plus, we only had to work every other day. So I bought myself a car and everything. I got a job in Hawaii.
Okay, and he sent me a picture of a car that he had.
You got a job
Yeah,
while you were in the in the Air Force?
Yeah.
I didn't think you could do that.
Well, parts department, I mean, they didn't make a difference. They didn't care.
Well, and two, he sent me a picture of a car, and the door was open and he was there.
Yeah, I was on Waikiki Beach and I was with a buddy of mine.
Under the door. I couldn't see
with my buddy of mine, you know, and he was real dainty,
sure,
you know.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, he didn't know when he sent me that picture
Yeah.
of the female, and I says, oh, it looked like you were really having a good time. We weren't engaged or anything.
Right.
And he said, what are you talking about? And, you know, letters back and forth, you know. Take about a week to get a letter back.
So
I had that old 35 Ford and it needed tires and wheels and everything, and I go down the motorhome and just put on Jeep wheels and this brand new tires and fill me up with gas anytime I need gas.
And
what
what was the boat that was sunk there, I know?
Huh?
The boat that was sunk in the wartime? I can't think
Oh
of it.
yeah, Pearl Harbor. I could throw a rock from my feet very.
What was
Pearl Harbor.
the name of the boat that sunk there?
There was 30 of them, honey. There was 30 of them
That's not
sunk.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
how long after Pearl Harbor did you go there?
Oh, it was probably about 3 months.
3 months after Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor. So
Yeah.
that was, everybody's pretty still traumatized
Oh,
by
yeah,
that thing
yeah.
when you got there.
Well, there was
That's
one there
really-
that I think that the last I knew it was, God, it's been 50 years. It was still in Pearl Harbor. There's leaking oil.
Yeah.
I think the Arizona, one of those big ships.
Arizona, that's the
Yeah.
ship that I wanted to
Yeah.
remember. Because it was
Yeah,
still
and they use
under
that
the
for
water.
visitors to go out on, go see it.
Did you, like, in your free time, take your car and go exploring the island and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Any place I wanted to.
Explored
Really?
quite a few things, didn't
Yeah.
you? He was dating and I was too.
No, I just had my buddies. That's all.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I didn't like women.
You didn't like women.
So, you look back at your wartime as a pretty good time in your life, right? I mean,
Yeah,
all in all?
it wasn't
He
that
was
I
bad.
mean, you didn't have to shoot anybody and nobody
No.
was shooting
No.
at you
He
and,
was lucky,
Yeah.
you know, he wasn't in the
Yeah.
battles really.
Well, as long as you're in communications, you don't have to worry about that stuff.
yeah.
Of course, if you're in the infantry, you better get ready with your gun.
Yeah, I knew a lot of kids.
Well, were you
that
issued a
killed.
gun? I mean, you must have had a gun.
Oh yeah, we had a gun.
Yeah.
Because we had a stand inspection and all.
Yeah.
But see, that was a little bit different because I have trouble remembering because it's been so long ago. But Captain Brown was my company commander, and he was General Richardson, which was the general over the entire South Pacific War. And he was Captain Brown was his first sergeant when General Richardson was in that company in peacetime. See. And so then we got by with everything. We never had to stand inspections or do nothing.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, though, see, in Germany, that's where the shooting and the killing was all the time. Hawaii, there was nothing. Once it was bombed there was no war, you know, shooting or anything there.
Yeah, but there was Japanese all out
Oh
there.
yeah.
Well,
Sure. They
weren't there a lot of Japanese prisoners they kept on?
Yeah.
Hawaii?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
And what did we do with all those letters? I was reading some of them here the other day. It's funny how things you've forgotten, you know.
I sell them to the kids. I enjoy reading them.
Sell them to the kids.
I think eventually they'll get them. They'll have them anyway.
What the heck was it?
I'm trying to.
We was over on
go through-
47th Street. Danny lived over there. And he got a hold of the bag of my letters, and he was sitting out there in the back, and all the kids were reading them. Well, Danny had a bunch of Playboys too up there on the shelf, and the kids got into those, and they were showing everybody.
Yeah,
That must have been a little embarrassing for
Yeah,
Danny.
yeah. They called Danny. They called Danny into the school.
You met my mom.
We
They
were.
worked together.
Yeah. Oh, were you there, Harold? I
How
don't
could
think
you
so.
told me?
No, she came and was interviewed for a job, and she was real timid, and she wouldn't hardly talk, but she filled out the application that this was her, I think her second job here in Kansas City, and then she and
Second, what was it, where were you working? Where was it?
Consumers Co-op. It was on the other side of
Ninth Street,
the
wasn't it?
river on 9th Street.
9th and Grand.
No, Harold. It was in North Kansas City, Harold.
North Kansas City.
Yes, it was, Harold. The original building where we worked was North Kansas City, but it's Consumers Co-op.
What would you do? What was
We
the
were
business?
secretaries. We were
Secretaries.
secretaries.
So what kind of business was it?
Consumer Co-op. It's kind of a farm thing that.
Oh, do you know what it was, Harold?
Well, yeah. It's
You weren't ever
consumer-
there.
No, but a co-op is a farmer's co-op that operates, that's selling products,
Oh, okay.
food and grain and all that kind
Oh,
of
I
stuff.
see, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
And-
met her
but
there,
she-
you're both secretaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, she was a timid little girl.
Well, she
wouldn't
probably
talk to
just
me.
came from the farm, I mean.
Well, she had some kind of other job before that, but she was looking
What was-
for a little bit more money, which
Oh,
wasn't that much back then either.
Yeah.
But we both knew shorthand, so you had to know shorthand
I wonder how she learned shorthand.
it, some kind of schooling
She
that
may
she
have
had.
took night school or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But she lived with, now Wilma wasn't here yet, but
Yeah, she was younger,
She
yeah.
and Imogene
Yeah.
lived together in an apartment someplace.
Yeah, I'm Gene, I think was a year younger than Mom.
Mhm. So she and I were friends then.
And that's before she knew my dad and before you knew Smitty,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Just young girls on the town, huh?
Yeah.
Out on the town.
But she wouldn't go roller skating or anything. She couldn't. She went roller skating one time and she was like, she couldn't stand up.
So that was a big
Her front
entertainment
would
to go
come in,
roller
then her
skating. huh?
hind end would go out. and-
Well,
Yeah.
see, I learned to ice skate, and I was an ice skating instructor, and all these soldiers at your side were coming into town, and here I was trying to help these soldiers stand up on the ice, and then the roller rink was right across the street, and so roller
Across the
skating.
street from what?
On Main, up to
From
39th and
30
Main.
Oh,
39th
okay.
and Main.
Oh, okay.
It was the ice rink, the roller skating, and the dance hall was all.
Okay.
Was that,
The
where
ice rink.
And so he was roller skating, and I fell down one night. That's how we met.
She fell
He picked
for me.
up. He picked me up off the ground.
So you met him in the ice skating rink?
No, roller
No,
skating.
Roller skating.
But she fell for me, and she did
Yeah.
it absolutely deliberately did that.
Oh yeah, sure. If I'd have known then what I know
So
now.
it was from then on, huh?
Yeah.
Well, so then, did you,
See,
get her phone number, or what,
Well-
how'd you do it, Smitty? I mean,
Well, I walked her home because see,
Oh,
we,
okay.
Walk
yeah,
me
she had to go
home.
all the way down to 11th and Grand to get
From
the bus to go out
39?
northeast.
Isn't
She
it
lived in
funny
northeast.
how things were so different then? Because I met him and I'd meet other soldiers and they were in uniform too. And,
Right.
Or we knew they were stationed in the Kansas City area. They were there for a night's entertainment at the roller rink or ice rink. And we would walk from 39th and Main down to 11th and Main, where I had to take a bus. I lived in Northeast, and so I could have gotten a bus right there at or a streetcar really at 39th and Main and had a transfer at downtown. But it's funny you
And
would
I lived
think
right
of,
there at,
now see, he was in learning
yeah, I was
communications.
Kansas City communication schools I went down there on Main.
See, he
Then
didn't
yeah, I
know,
lived
So they were
on-
training you.
yeah,
Yeah, training.
before he went
Yeah,
overseas.
6 weeks. But right where Municipal Auditorium is now, that's where Robert E. Lee Hotel was, and I was staying in that place. And then the girls, they on the state up a little bit, we could see each other from the hotels. And at that time, we were getting learning to read messages with the blinker light.
Oh,
And
I
we
see.
just
Yeah.
send messages back and
From the
forth.
See, I
ships,
didn't know
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
See, they were blinking back and forth.
Yeah.
So did you have a phone back then? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, but
it's party
we
line
didn't
church.
call. We didn't call.
Oh yeah, but a
talk
telephone
line.
call, like if I'd call her, something like $35 or $40.
No.
No, I mean when you're
No.
in Kansas City,
Yeah.
when you first met her.
No.
Did you like? I mean, what do you?
No, we didn't have no phone.
What is the pickup line back then? What was the pickup? You know,
Well, we
can
had
I
a phone
get your
in
phone
the
number
house.
or?
Yeah,
We had a phone in the house.
yeah,
but,
she had a phone at home.
Yeah.
but he would never call. Remember, I had I felt sorry for him, so then he didn't want to meet my parents. I lived right next to a grade school, and he didn't want to go in and meet my parents.
And she'd get heck from her mother all the time because at the time I was trying to grow a mustache, and I used black pencil on it
Oh
to make it look better.
And then
And she'd
he
come in and
kissed
have
me,
us all black.
he says, "What have you been doing? What have you been doing?"
Oh, what a dead giveaway, huh? Oh man.
No, mother was good at entertaining anyone that I wanted to bring home. And there were quite a few boys that were homesick, you know, and
So
had
you're living with your
my mother and
your,
dad.
your
I was
parents
still
when
at
you
home.
were working at the co-op.
Yeah.
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 Mhm.
So when did you move out?
And when we got married.
Oh, you stayed at home till you got married.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And where was your first house? Well, I mean, where'd you, not your first house, but where'd you live when you first got married?
Oh, we lived down on North Lawn, out northeast.
Oh, so
We
you,
lived in
We
a,
had just an
people
apartment.
made an apartment upstairs from their house, and we had to share a bathroom with them. And her friend lived up in the same block,
I see.
Julia, so that's how we got out there.
So this was after the war.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You came back from the war and then you
Got married.
got married. And you moved out.
Yeah, because his folks didn't care for me. And it was funny because mother's house was two bedrooms upstairs, but when the family from Dubuque came here for the wedding, they
Oh,
didn't
they-
have enough beds.
Four carloads
His
of
uncle
people.
slept under the dining room table, and you know, just
Yeah.
so fun. And then his sister and husband slept across the street where mother lived, you know, just for the wedding.
Yeah.
Crazy things when you think about it.
So where'd
But
you,
it all worked out.
where was your second place that you lived after you were in that little apartment?
Oh, come on, Steve. Our
Come
second,
on.
our second place.
What was your second move?
Okay, where did we go? We lived on Lawn.
Well, I lived on South Lawn
But that was before we got married, though.
before we got married, yeah.
Yeah, he had a
Oh,
room
no,
in
there
an
were,
apartment.
we were out in Ordell Edition out there, you know, up KU Medical Center, over in that area, west of there. And they were making a whole new, a center, new houses and everything.
Oh, okay.
We bought
that's
a
where we
house
bought-
out there.
Well, that's where your folks lived too,
Yeah.
because they bought first.
Yeah, your folks bought that little, well, you've probably seen pictures of the little house
Yeah, I
That's
know.
where
We
you
lived right
That's
close
where
to
you
there.
lived.
on South 9th,
That's where you were born on.
yeah.
Can't even think of the name of the street of that side street there.
Yeah.
We were
yeah.
on 9th Street. We were about 3 blocks over. Imogene and Roland were on 9th Street.
Yeah, they were further down from
About
us.
a block down from us.
Yeah.
So that was, so you went from the apartment to a house?
Mm-hmm,
Your house,
Yeah.
which you lived for years and years and years.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it cost
So this is only your third move.
$7,000.
This is only your third place you've lived
Yep.
since you've been married.
Yep.
Probably.
A little tiny apartment to your house,
South Ninth.
South Ninth,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to here.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. We've about 33 years over there, and we're about the same difference right
And
now.
you've been
about
married
32 years.
67 years.
Yeah.
Don't you think I should get an award? That with his old buzzer here.
That reminds me, you still owe me for the marriage license too.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
Well, that was a pretty big move to buy a house back then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a,
Well, your folks did the same thing.
yeah, it
They
was a little
bought that
Cracker
house,
Jack
too.
though. It was a little tiny little
Well, they didn't buy that first place, so they bought the one on South.
3140 South 7th Street.
Yeah.
That's that's the one he
Yeah.
did a lot of the building himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Smitty built that room across the back and finished the upstairs. See, that the upstairs wasn't finished over there at all. That's where the kids' room, that's where the train was upstairs. the
Oh,
train
yeah.
room up there.
I always loved to
Mm-hmm.
remember when we'd go over, you guys would be playing poker or something, and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you make popcorn and
get your kids
go
first.
upstairs and
you
play
go
with
play for
Danny.
a
He had
while.
all the toys, the trains, and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, it was always fun.
Yeah.
So, what job did you? What was your first job when you came back from the war? When you first got married? What?
I was always in the meat business. I was working in co-op in North Kansas City
And
at E&P.
that's because that's a family background there. Don't some of your relatives were in the meat business?
Well, see, in Dubuque is where I
Dubuque,
was
yeah.
raised, and I
Right.
was raised in the Dubuque Packing Company. Practically, I worked
Right.
there. All of our family did. And so when I came down here, why I had to do something. So went to be a journeyman meat cutter.
I know, I remember he and Mother
And I worked
talking
over
about
on,
what kind of job he should get.
yeah,
when he
I
first
worked
got-
over on 47th and Summit, yeah. In a little private little grocery store. I worked in there, meat cutter. And I worked there until, what, 1963, wasn't it? Yeah. And then I went into television business.
So, how did you get interested in the TV business? I mean, how did you go from a meat cutter to someone that could fix TVs?
Well, because I was a radio teleoperator, and I went to
so you mean your
Central Radio
experience in the
School.
war helped you?
Yeah, communications. So that's how I got into communications.
But you, yeah.
No, there's one young couple that we knew, got acquainted with.
Tom Evans.
Tom Evans, that's who our Tom's named after. JB had a television shop
Yeah.
down on Southwest Boulevard, and he,
After school, we'd go out there and work on people's televisions.
he had to have more
Well, when was this?
classes for you,
Yeah.
teaching you how
I
to.
mean, this was
work
still
on-
when you were a meat cutter. You were still.
Yeah, I'm meat
He was
cutting
meat
then
cutter
during the
during
day,
the
and then
day.
I'd work in the television
Oh,
shop until 1
okay.
o'clock in the morning.
Now I get it. So you were doing that
Mhm.
part-time basis,
Right.
and then
Then he could make more money.
you decided, hey, I can.
And
have
then
my
we-
own business.
We had our
Mhm.
shop,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
at 43rd
Yeah.
Rainbow.
The kids laugh about that too.
Well, how long did you have that shop?
Oh,
5,
probably
6,
5 years.
at least.
And then
5
did you just took your business out of your house then? Weren't you doing
Well,
it out of your
I
garage?
started out of my house, and then I went to
Oh,
a
you-
shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
it started in the house.
Yeah. And I
Then
had
you
a-
bought the shop.
Yeah.
You got the shop.
And
Uh-huh.
then we had a big display window, and he was selling televisions too.
I made a double.
Used ones you repaired or
No.
new ones?
New
New ones, okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we sold Sylvania, we sold television. But when I out South 9th, I made another grip and Billy added another shed onto the one I already had, and I made that into a television shop, see. And I worked at home there.
After you got rid of your shop, you
No,
did
that's
it at
before.
home.
That's why.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
First, you did it out of your house,
Yeah.
and then you had the shop,
Mhm.
and then kind of, I guess the handwriting was on the wall on TVs because they
Yeah.
weren't making them out of tube. The transistors did you
Yeah,
in, didn't it?
Yeah, transistor
Yeah.
did me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that funny little television right there?
Yeah.
That wooden cabinet we had, that was our first set that we had years and years
Yeah.
ago.
That's a table model television.
And then
Yeah, my parents had
inside
one
he
like
put
that.
that little one in there.
Yeah. Now the cabinet's worth more than the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, But the
I wasn't about to throw that away.
The TV has a pretty good picture there. So,
So, TV business kind of went the way, you know, you
Well,
technology.
yeah, they started making, the courtesy TV came on, they was advertising on television, they were making free service calls.
No.
But what they were doing, all they were doing is going in and they checked the television, said, we can't do anything for it, we have to take it in the shop. So they always took them in the shop, they never did fix them.
Ah.
You know, and then they'd end up with a $50 or $60 bill instead of a service call.
So you closed down your shop,
Yeah.
and then you went back in the meat cutting business, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the courtesy TV ruined the television business.
Wow. And then how long were you in the meat cutting business before you retired?
Oh,
that was his main thing all the time.
I can't remember. 63? What did I do in 63?
No, 63 is when you said you started the shop or the TV business.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
So,
did. But I still did both of them all the time. I
Yeah,
did
okay,
both jobs
right.
all the time.
but when you had your shop though, you were a full-time TV repairman.
Right.
You weren't still meat cutting.
No,
no.
no, I wasn't then. And the television business got pretty tough. Like I said, they started free
Yeah.
advertising everything on television. So then I
Well,
started.
Dan was in 3rd grade at Magajack
Yeah.
when you had that TV shop up there. You remember?
It's hard to remember that. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, he was in 3rd grade. It's been a few years.
So then I went back to the meat business.
So is it like riding a bike? Once you're a meat cutter, you just start and you just know it. It's
We
just
have
like
more
Yeah.
meat than the stores have. Every time he goes to the store, I can always find him. He's at the meat counter wanting to buy meat. We don't need
Wow.
meat.
So I mean, you had no trouble picking it right back up to where you were,
No, I didn't.
because it's just
Yeah.
like riding a bike. You don't
Mhm.
forget. Just get. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Of course,
wishes-
I'm sure. You know, they use there's new
Well,
tech.
all your big stores, you know, the trouble
More.
is, all those guys that worked in the meat shops, they didn't know how to cut meat. Because all they could do is run it through a big bandsaw, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I had to cut mine all by hand and cut it with a handsaw.
Right.
In
Yeah.
That's what I did
In fact, one of the
for years. 47
one
I
of-
started that.
One of the meat men works down at Price
Well, he
Shop
did, but he left there
until
just the
last
other way.
week.
Yeah,
Well, he's still doing it though,
yeah.
but he's just not there. We ran into him, so if he wanted any special cuts or anything, well then he would call him out and he'd get it for him.
Yeah. Gone are the days where you could go in the grocery store and go in the meat department and see the guys behind the counter
Yeah.
cutting
Yeah.
meat.
Yeah.
That's, you don't see, I mean,
No.
You
it's
don't
all
see it
behind the
anymore.
scenes.
Well, in fact, most of that stuff comes in the shops already pre-cut. It's cut
Yeah.
into little blocks of meat and then they slice it there, see.
Sure, yeah.
We used to get in a whole side of beef hanging up and we have to break it down and cut the whole thing up.
Yeah, that's a real butcher.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
that's the hard way.
yeah. Did you enjoy meat cutting, or was it just,
Oh yeah, I always liked it,
yeah?
yeah. I was always cool.
Yeah, you're working in a
You were
cool
cool.
environment.
You were cool.